Yes, and I think we're live, so that's great. Welcome everyone to the live show of today, the live stream actually. I'm doing this live stream because we're going to break down the track that I've released yesterday. It's a bootleg from Francis Bebe, I think it is. The Coffee Cola song. It's available now as a free download, so if you feel like checking it out. Yes. Oh, and head over to my page and check it. I see Julio checking in, Nico checking in. What's up, people? Good to have you here. Welcome to the live stream. Like I said, we're going to break down a track of mine today. I'm going to show you the logic file, and I'm going to show you how I work, what I use, what kind of plugins I use, what my workflow is, and if you guys have any questions along the way, don't be afraid, just put them in the comment section, and I'll be here to answer all your questions. I see Timothy checking in. Hello, welcome. Okay guys, so first I would like to know who has already heard the original track. That's kind of important. So let me know if you already heard like the original version of the track. What's up, Cedric? Hello. Let me look up the original one to show it to you. Here we go. This is the original one.
There are people in town, men, crazy people in town, eating bread and butter and honey and drinking black coffee cola.
Okay, so that's the original one, and I'll show you quickly the version that I've made, and after that we'll dive deeper into the project file. But this is what it ended up to. So, like I said, this was my version of the track. This is the bootleg version, and the one before you heard before was the original one. The original track is a track from, I think it was 1982 or something. It's pretty old actually. But I actually found it, funny story, because I was listening to a Spotify playlist with some summer tunes, and I was listening to just to that list. My mom actually was cutting my hair, and I heard like the flute thing, and I was like, wow, okay, this is something cool. I can create something cool with it. So I immediately saved it to my Spotify, and afterwards I found the original and started cutting and editing and stuff. So today I want to take you into the project file, like you see already in the logic file. I'm going to take you to into this project, into the deep dive into this project, and I'm going to show you what I did and how I did it. If you guys feel like having questions in between, just put them in the comment section. I see Jake Shannon checking in, Rosalie Visser, hello, Cataclysm, nice groove, thanks man. By the way guys, this track, I'll put it in the comments, is available as a free download, so feel free to grab your version right there. If you have to DJ tonight or whatever, do your thing. Yep, here we go. It's in the comment section if you want to. Okay, let's start with the project. So, as you can clearly see, I like to work pretty structured actually. I like to use colors, I like to use a well-organized thing, just so I know what to use, where it is, and where I can find it. So that's why I always use the colors. So it's easy for me to see where things are. For instance, I always make the kick yellow, and I always put it on top of the project. I always make my bass lines purple, and the darker it is, the deeper it is. That's how I interpret it. Green and pink normally are like the melodies, and all the things I didn't give a color right here underneath are effects, so swooshes and sweep downs and uplifters and all those things. So that's how I would like to schedule my my DHW. Quickly head over to all those things. So turn out the sound and see what's happening. Perfect. Okay, so this is the project file like I mentioned. I'll show you here. This is the kick. Hello. I made it, I filtered it off in the beginning. As you can see here, I used the standard EQ from Logic, and I cut it off at 70 Hertz just at the beginning, because afterwards it kicks in. And here in the break I also used the cutoff and stuff. Hello Kick Drum, good to have you here, welcome. Okay, so that's the kick. Then we have a clap. A simple clap right here. Toms. How I always like to work, you can see it here, Vengeance 3 percussion, and I created a folder out of this, as you can see. How I like to work is I like to find like loops, and I cut those loops. So I try to find elements into the loop that I really like. I cut those out and use them and create my own rhythm with it. So this actually was a loop before I used it, and now it's just a simple tom actually. And after that I combine them all into one folder, so it's really easy to find and works really easy. Here's another one. This is also one sound that I used from a certain loop, which I liked, and I created my own rhythm out of it and actually gave it a small sidechain. Oh, where it is. As you can hear, this is what it normally is. This is with the sidechain. In my opinion, this just gives it a bit more flow, you know, it makes it a bit more danceable. This is without. You instantly hear like things start moving, things start shaking. Welcome Patrick, welcome Ant Parker. If you have any questions in between, just drop them in the comment section, guys. I will get back to it every now and then and see if I can help you with it. This is just a normal loop, but I gave it some extra reverb and I started sidechaining it and EQ'd it. This is the original. And I just want to have it a bit more clearer and without all the noises. Then I have the congas. also sidechained. It's funny with this that if you take off the sidechain, you get a completely different vibe on this one. So this is without it. And with the sidechain. So simple hi-hat. This one as well, small sidechain. As you can see here. Also EQ'd out the lower frequencies and gave it a small reverb with the favorite plugin I use for reverbs. It's called Valhalla Room. It's not that expensive. If you feel like buying it, it's like $50 in my opinion. A great investment. So if you're still looking for an easy plugin for a reverb or whatever, I would pick this. Okay. By the way, I noticed that I deleted the original file, so the actual flute from the original file, like you see, isn't working. I'm sorry for that, but all the things I created myself are working. So swooshes. So this is the first build-up. What I like to do, but that's maybe because I like this from a DJ perspective. When I used to play, I always liked it when the track was arranged like this. If you have a look at here, this is like half a minute, then you go into 1 minute. At 1 minute, I have like the first breakdown / build-up. It's where I take off the kick and where the track starts building towards more energy and the actual start of the song. Why do I like this? That's because I like to play, and when I was playing the music, it just fitted perfectly with the other track. You can take off the bass. It just blends all in together perfectly. So that's why I like to do it this way. A small build-up, like I said, it's a small first build-up, and then the kicks in. Okay, to give you guys a clearer vision, like I said, I accidentally deleted the flute, but this is what it ended up being. So that part that you heard right there is actually this part. This part, the first break. Here's where the flute comes in. Okay, so let's break down that part of the song to see what's actually happening. Oh. Let me just go in there. Here's where the flute comes in. Just delete that audio. Okay, so what's actually happening here on the break, on the drop actually? We have the kick. This is the tom. I used a small decapitator on it. It's from Soundtoys. Guys, if you're looking for great plugins, use Soundtoys. I like those things. There's a lot of different effects they deliver. You can use them on a lot of different stuff. I really like them, so if you feel like investing into a new plugin, go find the Soundtoys. Perfect to me. I also added a small sample delay on this. What it actually does is it makes it wider. So the toms that you hear are actually on the side of the mix. Then we have the percussion loop. which is actually more into the center of the track. Then we have the top bass, just so. Okay, so this is obviously sidechained. Then I actually added a small reverb, as you can see, just a small reverb on a bass line, which is not a normal thing to do, but sometimes I like to do it because it adds this airy kind of space vibe to it. I don't do this on the sub bass, but I sometimes do it on the top layer of the bass, just to make it more alive, in my opinion. There's an auto filter on it, but that's for the build-up, so just so I can take off the lower frequencies in the build-up. There's a first EQ, like you can see. I actually used this EQ to give it an extra boost. Let me show. Just adds a lot of power right there. And again, a small sidechain on the back. So what I did with this top sounds, as you can see, is I took off the lower frequency. So I cut it off at, let's say, 120 or something. Why did I do that? That is because I also use a sub bass, which is this line. And if we're going to have a look at the frequencies which the sub bass is using, as you can see, I cut off the high frequencies, but the lower frequencies are still intact. Let's compare EQs. So as you can see here, it's top bass, sub bass. So this is actually the lower part, this is the sub bass, and the middle top bass is taking the middle part of it. Why did I do that? Because I don't want them to collide together, because otherwise they're going to fight for the same spot in the mix, and that's not going to sound well. So together they sound like this. And now let me just listen to them separately. This is the top bass. It's with the sub bass on it. So those two layers actually are making the whole track actually, because it's just a kick, it's one tom, it's a simple loop, and it's the bass line and the flute, which I can show you right now. So that's it for the first drop. Let's head over to a question from Ant Parker. With fitting frequencies together, is there an easy way to work, and which part of the track sounds takes priority over others? I'm not sure what you mean with that, Ant Parker. Could you please redefine what you mean? Thank you. Okay, so you heard the noise right there. And while I stop it, you already hear there's a reverb on it. And I always like to add a reverb on noises because it makes it more real. It actually really sounds like it's real, like someone's spraying some CO2 somewhere. If I take it off, it sounds completely different. Here we go. You see, it ends immediately, and I don't like that. Sounds like someone's really spraying in a room. That's what I wanted. That's why I added the Valhalla. And I EQ'd it a little bit on the 2K to take off the really sharp frequencies for the ears. Okay, what else do we have? Okay, so let's continue. This sounds got added. Also on the side of the mix. So I have a sweep here from Vengeance, and this sound in my opinion, that little sound adds a lot to this little edit here. Let's just check it without it first. Okay, and now with the sounds. It really sucks you back into the groove. It's just a little tiny detail right there, but it really helps. And I really like to use it, so that's why it's in there. And from here on, the hi-hats got added. As you can hear the effect right there. This is a part of a fill. And as you can hear, there's an echo on it. It's the Echo Boy, also from Sound Toys, which is one of my favorite, like I mentioned. And this actually creates, I'll show you, a really long delay on it. It goes from left to the right speaker, and it disappears into the depth of the mix. And by doing this, it really runs smoothly over. You have a smooth overlap. Like that. And normally on that part, I'll show you the final one is this part.
There are people in town and crazy people in town.
That's where the vocal comes in. That's where the vocal comes in. So that's this part. So that's why we're hitting the first break actually. Let's head over to M. Parker. He says, sure, when fitting the frequencies together from different channels, is there an easy way to work to ensure you are not overtaking space of the spectrum from another sound? And which part of the track would frequency priority? Well, that's a good question. In my opinion, it's more important to always keep on listening. You know, a lot of people tend to look at analyzers and see what's really happening and try to find a reason to not do something or to do something. In my opinion, always use your ears. If you're taking a few frequencies away from one sound and adding a few frequencies on the other sound, keep listening to what's really happening and see what works for you. If you're looking, if it's doing what you would like it to do, then you're good to go. But that's not something an analyzer is going to give you. You know, you always have to keep on listening what's actually happening with the sound when you're EQing it. And I think that's a thing that a lot of people tend to forget because they just want to look at analyzers and see what's happening. But listening to a track and listening to the elements in a track is always a smarter thing to do. So then we have a second part of the break with a different clap actually. And then we go this is an extra melody that I've added, or actually just a bleep. I'll show you how I've created it. It's 3 notes actually, and if you have a good look, they're not all on the same rhythm. As you can see here, this just differentiates like 1/1000th of a second, and these two underneath it as well. And that's what the effect that you hear. That's why it doesn't sound static actually. I can show you like this. Now it's on the same note. Can you hear the difference? So that's this sound. It's from, let me see, Spire actually. And I've been tweaking a few things here. It's from, I always start off with like this presets, and then I start tweaking it until I like it. So that's what I did with this one as well. And as you can see, I've added a lot of things on it. Let's just check how it sounds without all those things. As you can hear, you totally miss power, depth, width, everything. And that's what I've added with this. That's what I've added with the small Valhalla. That's not this one, this one. I give it a little bit of space with this one. This is the dry signal. And that's the wet signal with just a little bit of verb. I've used the Echo Boy, which is in the break. I think it's automated. And the guitar rig. This is one thing that I really like to use on my, simple melodies, let's just call it bleeps. It's actually a guitar amplifier. And normally you would use this for a guitar, but I really like to use this on simple bleep sounds like this. Just listen to what it does. It makes it way more fatter. It adds a lot of different elements. You have a lot of presets here, but you can add like delays, psych delay, reverbs, cabinets, boxes, all those things. You can twist the knobs and do whatever the hell you want. But it just makes your sound a lot more crispier and more unique. So that's a good tip if you're struggling with creating cool sounds, like fat sounding sounds. The guitar rig from Native Instruments is a great one. And this is the radiator. It also adds a small extra energy into the sound. The thing you've heard here it's actually a reversed sound of the first note of this one. I'll show you like this. I also like to do that because it really sucks you back into that moment of the track. And Parker is saying, so basically there is no right or wrong, but only to trust your own ears and own judgment on the finished project. Exactly. You know, in the end, it's music. So in the end, it doesn't matter how you've created it, when you've created it, with who you've created it. The only thing that matters is how it sounds. And it doesn't matter if you've EQ'd it this way, or if you EQ'd it this way, or if you EQ'd it or used a compressor or a limiter. That's the part that no one really cares about. The only part that a lot of people care about is how does it sound in the end, and does it sound well. So always use your ears. So here's where the big build-up starts. Sorry for the quality, by the way, but I noticed that the plugin I use for the sound switch is not really doing well. But as you heard, you hear an echo coming up right there. And that's this. I also automated the reverb right here, as you can see in the build-up. I've automated an echo boy. That's not this one. This one, that's the one you hear. And I take it down on the moment the track drops. Right there. Also, a small other edit that I've created is here with the noise that I previously showed you. I just cut a few pieces of the noise and started shifting around with it and creating a different rhythm with it. It just adds another small tiny little thing. And then I just work it towards the end. And things like this are really important to me, you know, like the small little edits. That's what makes a track alive to me. Like all these parts you see here on the end of the bars, that's what makes the track alive. Okay, so take a deeper dive into the sub bass. This is from Serum. So Serum sub bass, the Bay Easy Querbro. I think I changed some things there as well. I'm not sure what actually. I think I filtered it. So it's only the sub basses. And the top bass is from Spire as well. So what I always notice is when people start talking about me, about my projects, is that I don't use that much. I just don't use that much tracks actually. I like to work on a minimalistic style, a minimalistic way. Less is more, in my opinion. As you can see, there's 32 tracks, and from the 32 tracks, about 12 of them are effects. So whooshes, swipes. Sweeps down, sweeps up, all those things, and the rest, it's just 2 layers of bass, there's 1 bleep, and the rest is all, this upper part is all beats. So it's not actually that difficult in my opinion. If we check the original file, which it eventually ended up being,
Eating bread and butter and honey and drinking black coffee cola. There are people in town, men, crazy people in town. Eating bread and butter and honey and drinking black coffee cola. There are people in town, men, crazy people in town. Eating bread and butter and honey and drinking black coffee cola. There are people in town, men, crazy people in town. Eating bread and butter and honey and drinking black coffee cola. Cola, 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 cola,
So that's the end product of the track actually. It's like I said, it's a free download. So if you guys feel like playing this track, or if you like the track, or if you want to go to the project again, the link is in the comment section. And Matt Sierra's asking, JoeySuki sample pack coming soon? Well, no, actually not. That's not something I'm working on. I'm making music just for fun right now, and I'm releasing music every now and then, but artist coaching is my main focus, and that's what I like to do all day. So sample pack, that's not coming, sorry. I hope you guys like this, this breakdown of the track. I hope you like the track itself. And if you have any questions after this live stream, just send it to me or put it into the live stream, whatever, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But thanks for checking in. I hope you guys learned something, or let's just say even enjoyed yourself during this live show. And I'll see you guys next week with another Suki Likes live stream, Wednesday at 4 p.m, where we're gonna check live demos. Have a great weekend, guys. I'll see you next week.